Hi everyone, Steve Swinburne here, and I would like to read the first chapter of my novel, Whiff and Dirty George, The Zebra Incident. What does zebra stand for? The Zipper Extraction Button Removal Atom Smasher. First chapter, if you can see that right there. Chapter 1. Chapter 1, Where and When? Early train to London, June 1969. Who? William Whiff King, George, Dirty George Potts, and other passengers. Sound, clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. "Me trousers are falling down," cried Dirty George. "Mine too," said Whiff. "What's going on?" "It's mad," said Whiff. Whiff checked his wristwatch, 7:25 a.m. exactly. The train to Paddington Station had just crawled to a stop when every zipper unzippered, every buckle unbuckled, every button unbuttoned. The railway car burst into bedlam. Handbags yawned wide. Briefcases sprung open. Fountain pens zoomed by Whiff's nose. Passengers shoved and struggled to grab their trousers and skirts. Dirty George had never seen so many pairs of pink polka dot undies. Eyeglasses, cufflinks, hairpins, and brooches hurtled to the floor. Belts curled around ankles like snakes. A weird energy force had invaded the train, pulling everything downward. Dirty George tried to yank up his trousers. "Here, use this!" Whiff dug out some rope from his rucksack and tossed it to Dirty George. And then he wrenched the rope that held up his own trousers. "What's that whirring noise?" "It's coming from over there," said Whiff, pointing to the luggage rack 5 rows ahead. At that moment, the door to car number 3 swung open, and in stepped a large rabbit. The rabbit straddled a seat and blew a silver whistle dangling from its neck. The passengers looked up. "Say cheese!" A white flash filled car number 3 as the man in the rabbit suit snapped a photo. Then he reached above the luggage rack, grabbed a small silver disc, and dashed through the train's open door. The speakers filled the railroad car with the sound of a maniacal laugh. "Crikey, who was that?" said Dirty George. "I don't know, but come on," said Whiff. "Let's chase that rabbit." "Whiff, do we have to?" "Come on, mate. Let's see what he's up to." Whiff squeezed through the crowded car to the exit. If there was one thing Whiff and Dirty George could do, it was run. They excelled at running. If they took a class in running, they'd get A's. When school bullies threatened to pummel you because you had no parents, Whiff, or wallop you because you were poor and smelled of socks and old fish, Dirty George, you found your legs. The boys ducked through the passenger car door. They spotted the rabbit escaping along a deserted part of the platform. Whiff dug out a length of rope. The boys tugged the straps on their rucksacks and took off like sprinters. Whiff tied a slip knot on the run. He'd practiced tying knots while running 100 times before. Ever since his hands could grasp, Whiff had messed about with rope. Whiff grew up believing that when your parents are tragically killed while watching a lasso demonstration at a Texas rodeo, you never, ever want to find yourself trapped by a rope. He'd practice tying and untying knots every day, every spare moment. He was the best. The boys caught up with the rabbit at the end of the platform. Whiff flung the noose. The knot snagged the rabbit's arm, and the boys planted their feet and tugged. The rabbit jerked to a halt. He spun to face his pursuers and, gripping the rope with one hand, pulled both boys toward him. "Crikey, Whiff, it's Super Rabbit. Now what?" It wasn't the first time Whiff had landed in a sticky situation. Nan, Whiff's grandmother, pleaded with him to think before he leaped, but Whiff kept leaping. And his run-ins with neighborhood ruffians and school thugs earned him black eyes and a thin white scar above his upper lip. For an instant, Whiff thought how easy it would be to release the rope and run. But he'd saved his pennies to buy this good strand of double-braided nylon rope, and he wasn't about to lose it. Whiff and Dirty George leaned back on their heels and tugged with everything they had, but the rabbit dragged them closer. When they'd reached arm's length, the rabbit flashed a smile of dagger-like teeth. Look like the rabbits outsmarted the foxes, eh, lads? Mister, we only wanted to have a look at that silver disc, said Whiff. Shut up, you cheeky tykes, said the rabbit. You're lucky I'm in a good humour, 'cause if I ever see the likes of you two again... The man whipped off his rabbit mask. Whiff and Dirty George stared into a pair of menacing eyes. Grey-black whiskers and an untamable mass of greasy black hair framed the man's twisted smile. The boys recoiled at the villain's teeth and vile breath. I'll have your throats, said the rabbit, with a wicked grin. He held Whiff's rope up to his mouth. He sliced it cleanly in one bite, sprang from the platform, scuttled across the tracks, and vanished down a dark tunnel like a rat racing to its hole. Thanks. See you next time.